Okay, so here's a quick overview of what I have learned. So this is an antler tip that I split. I sanded it really, really smooth and then just glued it on there. And it was overhanging here. Like it was just, I just glued it on how I thought it would fit okay. And the reason I did that is so that I could make these tips really, really skinny. That's like maybe 3/8. And so I did that so that way the string can ride mostly on the antler and not into the wood. So that helps. Okay, next is this cross section. This one isn't even crowned. I'll show you with a crowned one as well. So this one, no back crown. It rolls around. This one is like a D shape, but it's a wider D shape than like an English longbow or a D bow. So I make that D shape just basically so I can do most of my tillering here. This thing started off like this wide because this is maple and I didn't know how strong it was going to be. And so like I get it started and then I get it to a thickness that I think I'm going to be happy with at the end. And then I keep tillering off the sides instead of making a skinnier, narrower until then I've got like basically a chip for a limb because it's too wide. So that's what I started doing there. Okay, and then, okay, here's the same concept with a sapling bow. See? The back crown doesn't even quite match the belly crown, but that's how you tiller it. You get a tillering stick in there, and this bow will be an arc, and then you can look down that thing and match the arc with tillering off the edges. So this one ended up thicker overall than I thought it was gonna. But anyway, it just, that helps for tillering. Okay, the next thing, here's an example. This bow bends through the handle, and so it was exceptionally easy to tiller. I just made it bend a little bit in the handle, and as you can see, it was, about that thick, and as I got the limbs tillered and bending, I needed to make it bend in the handle, and so I just split a big hunk off and then sanded it smooth. Okay, so most bows I make tiller bending through the handle because they're easier to tiller and they come out like kind of sometimes faster shooting bows and stuff like that. Okay, but this one I built more like a modern glue together bow. This does not bend through the handle and that riser is huge. And I did that because then in tillering the limbs, you get a lot more bend up near the tips. I'll show you how this is tillered in a minute. I'll string it. I was just putting this handle on it. But it does a lot more of the work out near the tips, and it's kind of whip tillered, and it's got a lot of string tension. And so what you lose by not having it work near the center is like really not that bad when you look at like this thing. Even though it's got like a little tiny bit of deflex to the limbs, it's got so much reflex overall that it's like the string is like wanting to be here unstrung, in line with the tip, you can see. So stiff handle usually makes for a little bit sweeter, smoother shooting. Most of the time, the stiff handle bows are not as fast as ones that work all the way through or that do most of their work near the handle or near the center. Okay? And one more thing is that when you tiller the bows this way, if you look at this bow, see that? It's got reflex. It wants to be there. So this thing's got a lot of string tension. Okay, so if you look at this bow, it's got this little S snake in it, and then the handle's got a little cockeyed part where this limb's a little that way and that limb's a little that way. Okay, so I thought I should probably bend that and bend that, like bend this up near the tip that way and bend that that way to get the string in line with the handle. Okay, but when you tiller this way, you can make the limbs bend in an arc. So this limb bends over this direction and this limb bends over this direction, and the string intersects the handle like that a little bit. And so then you can shoot it right or left-handed off the skinny side. Okay. That doesn't make a ton of sense, but if you don't want to straighten, you can tiller that. And it's also manages that twist. There's a tiny bit of twist in this stave, and so that also manages. So then you can see I'll just have to lay this on the floor. So then you can see it kind of has this gull wing look to it a little bit. And a lot of work is being done up near the tips, which is not typical of my bows. I prefer them to be stiff at the tips and work down here. But you can see the string kind of intersects the handle at an angle, and it just works out. It just works out. So this particular bow, I made the bottom limb an inch or two, inch and a half shorter, and I'm gonna stop doing that. I wish I hadn't done that. I did it because I had already selected that top limb up there for the top limb. But that's it. That selection then gets made early on in layout, and you should be able to make that decision later. You could chop an inch off of one and tiller it in or whatever you want to do. So don't do that. So anyway, and then this one, this is the thicker half of that antler. When I cut it with a saw, I was using a little hacksaw to split it, and it got crooked. But so there you go. The string, I don't got it completely level. It bumps up a little bit, but that just adds a little bit of extra reflex, a little bit of extra string tension to the bow. And then that's the profile of those. Like these were overhanging. They were just ugly, so I just sawed them off, and this is after they were glued on. And then I just kind of filed that and rounded it off. And so there you go.